You know, some people want to know how I went from 6.5 years in prison to owning multiple units in 7 states.
And one
And I
international.
must say, it was a journey. It was a journey. You start off slow, but you grow. You start off slow, but you grow. I got into real estate as a real estate agent initially. And then after I became a real estate agent in one state, I went to another state and got another real estate license. When I first got into real estate, I thought that's what I wanted to do. But real estate agents, they represent buyers and sellers with selling their houses and purchasing houses. And ultimately, that's not what really wanted to do. So I got into the loan business where I started to represent buyers who were getting houses that needed to obtain money. And that's when my eyes started to open up on how people started to collaborate and they came together to get real estate and they came together to get properties because no one was really doing it by themselves. Here I am thinking, oh, I got to do this by myself, and that's how I get into the business. But that's not how you get into the business. You get into the business by partnering with other people, and you get into the business by doing your research. So that's what I did. I did my research, started to incorporate everything that I learned from the real estate business as an agent, and everything that I learned as a loan officer, and I incorporated that into my business. First property I bought was in Los Angeles. It was a condo, and I rented out. I had a partner on that deal. We rented that out on Airbnb. I didn't have majority of the money at the time, so what I did was there's something called sweat equity. Sweat equity is where you take and you put in your hard working labor to bring the property up to standards and do everything that the other person or people that put the money up don't want to do. So you can say, you know what, I don't have all the money, but I do have labor. I do have a little knowledge. I do have some expertise, and you could take all of that information and you can use that and leverage it. So that's how I initially got into the business. We rented that out on Airbnb, sold it like a year later, made some bread off of it, and we went and bought some units in New Orleans. And I went and bought 2 units up in upstate New York the same day. Um, that's just the beginning of the journey. If you want to know the rest of it and how I use the strategy that I use now to purchase properties without using any of my own money, go to thenotepusher.com, www.thenotepusher.com. You will get a better understanding of the strategy that I use right now to purchase these houses without using none of my own money. It's a beautiful day today. It's going to be about 100 or 95. So, we're going to take a nice dip. Come along with me, www.thenotepusher.com. I was just in a clubhouse room when the topic was cash versus credit. Which one is king? I say cash is king. There was a lot of different individuals in those rooms saying that credit is queen for whatever reason. And they kept explaining their reasons why, and it just didn't make sense to me. I think that the one that's extending the cash for you to use, those are the ones that are kings. But the ones that are actually trying to get the credit from someone else, I don't understand how you could say that's king shit. That's not king mentality. Kings don't ask to borrow money. They know. Where's that mindset come from? A king asking to borrow money? That just doesn't even make sense. No, I'm not opposed to using a credit card to, rack up points and get all these airline miles and cash back, so on and so forth. I'm not opposed to that. But guess what I got to do at the end of every month? I have to take the king, which is the cash, and pay that credit card back. So I'm not opposed to using the credit cards, which is the queen, but I understand that I got to take the cash, which is the king, to pay that back. Cash is king, credit is queen. If you're extending credit to someone, you are the king, and if you're receiving credit from someone, you're in the queen position. You got to pay that money back with interest. You got to pay that money back in a specific term. You got to pay that money back with a specific agreement. It's all outlined in whatever particular contract that you form with the king. So cash is king, credit is queen. There's no doubt about it. You can leverage credit. You can also leverage cash. If you got a certain amount of cash, but see, a lot of y'all don't know this because you don't even got that type of money in the bank. If you got a particular amount of money in the bank, the banks will come to you and say, we will extend you this amount of credit because you got this amount of money in the bank. they'll allow you to use what you have in the bank and say, we'll extend you some credit based off of what you got in the bank, based on the cash that you got, which I say is king. With that, I'm not going to go no further into this because I don't really want to. But yeah, I couldn't even get into a debate, or I couldn't even get into a healthy dialogue with these people. They just wanted me out of the room. They just got me out. I didn't even say much. But yeah, I'm going to digress from this. I stand on cash is king, credit is queen. I like to debunk one of the biggest myths out there about real estate, which is you can get rich quick. I will say that while there is a select few that get rich quick off of real estate, that is not something that happens for all of us. It actually takes time, strategizing, and calculated risks. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you to contact a mentor or partner with someone that's actually been in the business. Don't get into the business of real estate thinking that you can get rich overnight. While that does happen for a select few, for the most and majority of us, we have to go through the ringer to figure it out. I don't have a problem enjoying the journey of learning about real estate while getting rich and wealthy, but that's one of the misconceptions. I think HGTV has a lot of us out there fooled. While you can fix those houses up in those manners, anybody can do that. The cost and expenses is one thing that I think they need to be a little bit more clear about. If you don't have a particular team like they have already in place, that's something that could be really, really difficult, and it's a hindrance in growing your business if you don't have a consistent and a constant team like they have. You know, I'll tell you, for somebody like me who purchases properties out of state, out of the particular state that I live in, that's one of the most, it used to be difficult, but now that I have the particular strategies that it takes to get a team together in these states, you know, it's not really that difficult. And even still, you don't know who you're dealing with. So you don't know the consistency of the workers that you're dealing with. So, you know, listen, man, getting into real estate, it could be very lucrative. But don't get into it thinking that you're going to get rich overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency, persistence, knowledge, expertise, help from others, and patience. You know, the cost of everything is going up. So that means the cost of labor, the cost of materials, the cost of properties, interest rates, everything is going up. So the more everything goes up, the less room there is for error. So that means you have to become that much more sharper in your business to capitalize and to gain. Do your research, do your due diligence, and I'm telling you, in the long run, you could create a sustainable income that is going to be mutually beneficial for you as well as the individuals that you're doing business with.